Hello there, and welcome to my channel. You are listening to the Dennis Herrera Show. In this podcast, I want to start by saying today is June 6th, D-Day, to me, one of the most horrific battles, not because there hasn't been any battles that have been as horrific as this one, but because of the courage that it took to go out there knowing, sort of like the Vietnam War, knowing that, well, chances were that you were not going to make it. The valiant, courageous heroes of our beautiful US of A went out there and won the Battle of Normandy, France, and allowed for a turning point in the World War II against the Nazi Germany. I would like to say not all Germans were Nazis, so let's keep that in mind. We all have had bad history in our countries. I'm from Honduras, Central America, and we have had good and bad history. We have had the Spaniard conquistadors come over, take our gold, take our silver, our valuables, taking advantage of the ignorance of our native people, not knowing what the value was in those things. In the United States were the British, and Mexico was the French, and so we all have bad histories, but we don't. This is not a history lesson. I know it kind of sounds like I'm going that way, but I'm not going that way. I just really want to honor and respect those fallen soldiers, our fallen heroes throughout our history, for those who fought to free the slaves, for those who fought to free other nations, and for those who fought for the United States of America to be a country of hope and of a country that has beautiful people and keeps creating beautiful people with a culture that it's just amazing for everybody to share. Now, with that being said, we need to continue looking for the well-being of the United States and its people. While this is a country that allows immigrants to come here and, if worthy, maybe come in here and make a life for themselves. We do have a lot of refugees in this country. We do have a lot of immigrants that have become residents. Some of them have become citizens, and they have been great patriots to this nation. But we also have the side of immigrants that comes over here hating this country because they don't understand the history and why things have happened the way they have happened for this country to be what it is today. But I want to remind you that with every privilege that we get here, we are to be reminded of what it's like to be an American citizen. So like me, being a Honduran American, coming over here, as much as I would love to live in Honduras, and who knows what God's plan is, if I happen to go back to Honduras and live there, I will love my country of birth, of course, just as much as I love the United States. It's just as much as I do right now. I love both nations, but my loyalty, of course, always goes with the nation where I actually live and provides for me and my family. I will never turn my back on Honduras. I think Honduras is such a beautiful nation, has a lot of beautiful people. Unfortunately, the government, just like anywhere else, has problems, but I'm hopeful that those things will change. But here in America, if you want to be an American, you have to love this nation. I will share to you something that happened to me when I became a citizen, a naturalized citizen. And I want to point out, Americans don't experience this because they're born in this country. And so they don't know what it takes to live in a third world country and then coming over here and being an American citizen is such a privilege. But when I was in my ceremony to become an American citizen, there was a tall black man from Gambia, well suited. I mean, he made me look very small, to be honest. And in the other side of the room was a bunch of people from, Iran, Pakistan, Middle Eastern, Indian. And I don't want to sound prejudiced, but that's actually, what they dress like. And when we were doing the pledge allegiance to the flag, some of them didn't even salute it. It bothered me. But the Gambia, the African man, he's too tall. And he just, I pledge allegiance. And this guy knows how to be a patriot. He knows the privilege and the honor that it is to become an American citizen. And when President Trump welcomed us to the United States of America as citizens, we were both standing up. And all the other people on the other side, the Indians, the Pakistanis, Iranians, they were all sitting down. Some of them were actually laying down. Can you believe this? Now, there is officials in there that are watching us. And even though, we all made an oath, we raised our hands, some of them, they didn't, and they still kind of whispered the oath. Some of them didn't even move their lips, so I know they didn't make an oath. But those are the things that differentiate people that love this country and people that just want to rip off the benefits of this country from the American citizens. And I think that was very distasteful. Though I was very proud of the Gambia man, that African man was, man, if I can see him today, I wonder how he turned out. But he was so proud of becoming an American citizen. That's a true African American because he's from Africa. And in all honesty, I mean, it's not even African because that's a continent. You normally claim your nationality, which would be Gambian. So he was Gambian American and I'm Honduran American. And we were both so proud to become citizens. And I think that as an American citizen now, I have appreciated everything that I have learned from history. I think it didn't shock me being that we come from a similar history with natives and Spaniard conquistadors, with the British, mistreating the Americans and blah, blah, blah. Native Americans here didn't take the same token as that we did in Central America, but, the Native Americans are still protected under the United States. So they might not like the American citizens to go into their, reservations and apply the law there, but they definitely benefit from the United States military and armed forces, which is okay. We still consider them our brothers. They don't consider us brothers, but that's just the way the world goes. I want to touch up on the big, beautiful bill that Elon Musk has been talking trash about. And the reason why I want to touch up on this is because I've been following as much as I could or can what's going on with this bill. I've been reading a lot of it and what's going on here. Why do we get this? Why do we have that? How come we don't get this? Well, I'm going to touch on the very main points that I care about and why I support it. Disclaimer, I'm not an economist. I'm not a professor. I don't have a master's degrees on anything. And so I know that if I can understand these things, you will also understand these things. So don't throw degrees at me because that will just make you look worse. So here's the thing. The big, beautiful bill has tax cuts on overtime. I want to touch up on this one because sometimes we as Americans, we sacrifice our life away from our families. And what do we get for it? We get more taxed. Sometimes we even change tax brackets because we have made so much money in the year. The second thing, and this is the most important thing to me, it's a lot of police officers make a lot of long hours overtime and they are putting their lives on the line. I'm not. I'm just working a regular job like every other Joe. But they're putting their lives on the line and the budget is not there to pay them even more. But it's not fair for the government to steal the sacrifice from them. So the more overtime they work, the more money they get to keep. And I think that is a great incentive to pass this bill. The second one, tax on tips. A lot of industries, a lot of people depend on tips. Now, The companies can pay them minimum wage or a very competitive wage, but those tips, tax-free, it's a very big thing for them to have, and this will make our economy flourish even more. We have a lot of Democrats that like to raise taxes on properties and, and all this stuff, which causes, rents to go up, uncertainty on the real estate and all this other stuff. But a lot of our American citizens that are retired, they have a fixed income. And because of this property tax raisings, it's some people can't afford it. And they have to actually go get a job somewhere. I mean, some people lose their houses. And so I think no taxes on Social Security will bring a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of benefit. And I really hope, I'm not really sure, honestly, I haven't looked to see if there's any specific programs that help senior citizens with lower rent rates. I know every senior citizen apartment community that I have reached out to how much they are, is way expensive. I mean, even I couldn't afford it. So I don't know how a retired senior citizen actually affords these things. So I'm sure there's got to be some type of program out there, right? Hopefully, that will help them. But those are three main things that I like. Now, remember that the sacrifice that our soldiers, that the American people before us have made to get this country to be safe and free, the land of the free, we now have to also look out for the best interest of the country. And how do we do that? Well, number one, we need to secure our borders, because just like we have a lot of immigrants that come here to get papers and maybe citizenship with time, they come and make a lot of babies. They abuse the system, the healthcare system, the welfare system, the housing system. They abuse that. And how do they abuse it? Because they make all these children. Now you would think, that's not a bad thing. They're making more children for America. No, the problem is they are not making children to be patriotic to this country. They're making children to follow their country of birth rule and religious views. And they turn against America. This is why you have all these thousands of people that are pro-Palestinian, even though Palestinians have nothing to do with the United States, but you have them causing riots, causing violence, and you have heard all the stuff that's been happening lately. So I don't have to go and reiterate all that stuff. But that's the way you have to think about it. Who do you want in this country? You got to have people that are vetted, tested, questioned. What are the motives? Are you willing to give up this for this? And it's like, I think it's very important that they answer that question. And that if they don't fulfill what they're answering, then their papers need to be revoked. No visa, no green card, no citizenship, because they weren't born here. I want to touch up a little bit on the citizenship, birthright citizenship. And I mentioned this story before in my previous videos, right? When I became a naturalized citizen, I became an American, and every one of my children's pending a test, paternity test, will also be citizens automatically, because I am a citizen of the United States of America. And I think that if you believe that, if the Constitution believes that, if that's what the people believe in the United States, then that means that anybody that is not legal is not included in all persons that are born in this country. I believe that the Constitution is speaking of the persons that are American citizens. One can argue that. Now, you can say, well, that's your interpretation. Well, it's not my interpretation. Let's use common sense. If all the children that I have made throughout the world became American citizens when I became an American citizen, that means that the United States and the Constitution believe that the birthright of the people are where their citizenship lies. And if your citizenship lies in Mexico and Honduras or whatnot, then that's what your kids' nationality will be, even though they are born in this country. Not going to argue about that. That's all I have to say about it. But that's how I feel. Number 4, let's see. Taxes, overtime, senior citizens, tips, border control. Number 5, our military strength. They need a healthy budget. These people need to get raises, and we need to have more money for military equipment and defenses. Now, there's a lot of money being thrown out there. I want you to keep this in mind. $4.5 trillion deficit on this bill. Just remember that. $4.5 trillion deficit. Oh my God, why are we passing this? This is horrible. This is going to destroy America. This is a big, beautiful bill, reconciliation bill for the next 10 years, which averages about $450 billion yearly. Remember that. $4.5 trillion deficit, $450 billion a year. You'll come back to that, and you'll see why. And this is why I believe that the bill needs to pass now. And then next year, maybe we can do some amendments. Maybe we can reconciliate again on something else, or maybe we can add more cuts. And I believe that we will get more cuts because of what is being done today. All right, so military, number 5, needs to have more money. President has already said that he's going to put a $1.2 trillion, I think it was. So we want to get that. There's a lot of other places where money comes from. Let's just keep it there for now. But those who oppose the bill, like Elon Musk, listen, the president is trying to bring manufacturers back to the United States. In the last couple of decades, we have lost those jobs to China and to other countries because we believe that there's not that much money to make there. But then let's remember why in World War II we were able to defeat our foes. We had manufacturing. We can build planes. We can build tanks. We can build ships. We can build all that stuff. Now we don't. Now we depend on foreign. So bringing back manufacturers, I'm 100% that that's the way that it needs to be done. Okay? And we have also the dependency on pharmaceuticals. I mean, guys, it's common sense. This bill needs to go through. We need those cuts for oil industries, for gas vehicles, and Elon Musk doesn't like it because it cuts the EV mandate, which is what he wanted in the first place. Now, Donald Trump said he never asked him for anything, and he's actually surprised that he never asked him. But he knows that Elon Musk wants the president to do what is right. He believed in him. But now that the bill is passing, it's on the Senate door, and they're over there, with conflict of interest now. Now Elon Musk is throwing the stones at President Trump because, he took the EV mandate off, and how unfair that the other cars and oil and gas, they're getting their breaks and not the EV, blah, blah, blah. Crimea River. Elon Musk, you were looked at as a hero for the United States, and now you're looking like a zero. We're not going to undermine everything that you have accomplished. We agree that you have done a lot for the American people by guiding Doge and the people that you have put in there. I think that you're going to save a lot of money by all the work that your team is doing right now. But throwing stones and doing all this negative stuff, you're just wiping everything that you have done good. So that's not a good cause. Remember that Democrats and all these crazy lefties were the ones calling you a Nazi and Donald Trump a Nazi. And they were burning Teslas just because they thought that was yours. And, that's not the way that we want to do things. And President Donald Trump has made it very clear that if he keeps the EV mandate on there, it will be such a huge conflict of interest because of Elon Musk's friendship with Donald Trump. And I agree, and I have said this many times over. It is a huge conflict of interest. And this proves to me, and hopefully to you that are listening to this podcast, is that Donald Trump doesn't care about the friendship or the money that people have. He cares only about the well-being of the American people, and he truly loves this nation. He will put the benefit of this nation and its people above any friends that he has. Plain and simple. And this proves it. Now, Elon Musk, I hope that somehow you guys are able to, reconciliate. Maybe you guys are playing the Democrats. I hope that you are, because, man, I believe it. I believe what you guys are saying to each other is real. But it could be just a game, and we'll put that in the back burner for now. But that's why it's important that this bill gets through. I know that Elon Musk doesn't like it because what's in there. But I'm going to go back to tell you and prove to you why this bill is not going to be a burden to the United States of America and is really good for the people. And I'm not a senator. I'm not in office. And these senators are supposed to have a lot of experience with all this stuff. Rand Paul, I'm so disappointed in Rand Paul for I thought that he had made some great smart and wise comments before, but lately he's just been thrown to the left. And he says that he's all up for this and that. And he's just trying to cover himself for not looking like an idiot completely. But I think he's wrong. I think he doesn't know how to do math, maybe. I don't know if he has lost his common sense for hanging out with Democrats too long. I don't know what the problem is. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that in this bill, $4.5 trillion deficit. Remember, I told you to remember that number. Do you guys know how much money we made on imports last year, 2024? $4.1 trillion in 1 year. We're going to pay $450 billion supposedly on this deficit. Now, how many billions of dollars are we going to save by cutting off lazy people of Medicare? By making Americans go back to work the way they should be? No more of these hoochie mamas getting welfare, getting medical, getting housing, getting cash so they can go get their hair did. All these lazy people need to go to work. You don't get money from the government so that you can go buy your marijuana, so you can go buy your alcohol, so you can buy sugar drinks and candy and all this junk food for your kids to be unhealthy. That's not what the government assistance programs are for. And you guys have been abusing it, so it's time to get off your lazy ass and get to work for America. Remember what JFK said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And I believe that a lot of unpatriotic, lazy Americans and immigrants that have come to this country have been abusing the system, and it's time that they pay their own way. Illegal immigrants got to go. I would suggest you deport yourselves immediately and ask to come back later with papers. I will say that all these manufacturing jobs that President Donald Trump is trying to bring here, they need big cuts. They need deregulation. They need to bring those taxes down, the interest down, all kinds of stuff so that they can afford to make a business here. Now, if we pay less taxes, we will have more money. And if we have more money, we can put more money into our economy. We can go to the grocery store. We're going to have lower prices to pay and more money to spend. And this is the prosperity that American citizens are supposed to have. So if you're not with the program, get the hell off the boat because you're not going to make it. All right? So with that being said, that right there, taking people off welfare that don't supposed to be there, taking people off medical that's not supposed to be there, is going to bring billions of dollars of savings, and this bill is going to pay for itself in the long run. Remember, it's a 10-year reconciliation, big, beautiful bill, and I really hope that it goes through. And you hard-headed Republicans out there that think it's not a good thing, you are wrong, and I don't care what numbers you're looking at. $4.1 trillion of imports is what we make in this country. The bill is $4.5 trillion in 10 years. On top of that, we have tariffs in place that are a little bit higher than what they used to be last year. So we are projected to make a lot more money this year because guess what happens? When China runs out of money, they're going to want to sell us our product. And maybe we go through a dry spell for a little bit. But I will tell you this, economy has nothing to do with the stock market. The stock market is being used to fearmonger you into believing that this president is incorrect and that tariffs are evil. But we are being tariffed by the world. It's time for us to get some money back. And when we get that money back, we're going to be more successful. We're going to have more money. And then we're going to be able to become a better big brother to support other countries. And then we can start saying, hey, now we're making this money. Now we can start sending some money to Africa. Hey, to these countries, not for sexual changes or circumcisions or a story from, Sesame Street. And no, to real issues. Let's go to Africa. Let's go ahead and pump some wells. Let's go make sure that we filter the water. Make sure that we show them and teach them how to farm. Let's make sure that we are making wells in here and filtering our water better and making America great again. Let's make sure that America is so great that Mexico, Canada, Guatemala, Honduras, Salvador, that all the countries in the Americas and throughout the world will benefit by the gesture that Americans have. Americans have a great heart. We're a giving people. We want to be a helping people, not a hateful people. Our religion doesn't teach to kill anybody. Muslims do that, and not all of them, but that's what the most Muslims do. Unfortunately, that's the truth. There's some Islam people out there that are disagreeing with these Muslims that are doing stupid stuff, and we have to be in the same boat. So, on top of the tariffs that is being put on right now, did you guys not get the memo, or did you guys miss the news that the President Donald Trump has made over $13 trillion in investments coming back to the United States? I'm already giving you guys over $20 trillion coming into this country. Our deficit right now is about $35 to $37 trillion. That stuff is going to go down. Democrats are so desperate and they're so mad because they're getting investigated, because they're being found out that they're committing fraud and they have been abusing the system and they have all this waste of money. Remember this, Elon Musk. Your job is to cut waste and to make sure that there is money, not to stop the spending, but to spend it wisely. So instead of giving money to universities that are $53 billion in money for themselves, free profit, let's give our money to trade schools like President Donald Trump has said. It is very important that you think outside the box. Outside the box. Just reminded me of the Jean-Pierre, or whatever her name was, the press secretary for Joe Biden. She says, we have to stop thinking inside the boxes, and we have to start thinking outside the boxes. I don't know what the hell that means for her, but that's not how the saying goes. We have to think outside the box, not boxes. I don't know what the hell that means. I don't know. They think there's so many genders. Maybe that's what she's talking about. But regardless, trillions of dollars in investments coming in. Not just that, but once these jobs are being created, people's economy is going to come into this nation and make the greatest economy for the United States. $139,000 new jobs, $139,000. 139,000 jobs have been created since we have been firing people in government. Think about that. I think that when you have thousands of people that are useless in the government, they got to go. In my opinion, Congress needs to all be fired. We don't need Congress. If we have the Senate, let's keep them on a short leash. But honestly, we can get rid of them too. But we need some type of organization. Our forefathers put these three branches in there for a reason. But Congress is pretty useless, I think. I don't see them fighting for the American people. I see Democrats on the Congress fighting for illegal immigrants, and that's not American, guys. So, anyways, my support is for the big, beautiful bill, and I have explained to you guys that we're not going to lose any money on it. We're actually going to be way better off than we have ever been. And I believe in God. This is why I trust Donald Trump, that he's doing the right thing. One thing you have to know about Donald Trump, he is an entertainer. I get it. We all love entertainment, but we don't love lies. And everything that he has promised, he has delivered on. And guys, maybe Caroline Leavitt might slip on something. She's human. Everybody in office are human. And we may all have made mistakes in our lives, in our past. As you will notice, I will tell you some stories about my life in the future, just for conversation's sake. But can't judge them too harsh. They are fighting for the American people, and that's all we can ask them to do. So, you know what? Be patient with them. Ignore this Elon Musk, Trump charade that they're going on through right now. The president has enough bullcrap to deal with, has enough stuff on his plate. I really feel sorry for him. Not that he's useless, but because he works so hard and is so underappreciated. You know, when he was addressing Congress, it touched my heart because I can see his feelings hurt as an American when the Democrats, when he even pointed at them, right? Make America great again. He's talking about the party that he comes from. He wanted the Democrats to be great again, and they are just so stubborn. They're just so lost right now. Communists don't want to be good American citizens. They want to be just that, communists. And this is why they love China so much and Venezuela. And it's funny, right? Because Ana Navarro talks so much crap about, how President Trump is a communist tyrant. And the Democratic Party, that's all they defend, communists. So very sad to say, but to end on a good note, I just want to say thank you to all of our veterans, all of you youngsters, and all the people that are in active duty and military, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, Navy SEALs. You guys are some tough mofos. My respects to you all. I love you for everything you do for this country. And even though some people don't, just know that you fight for real patriots of this America. And we love you and we respect you and we honor you. It brings tears to my eyes to even think of the sacrifice that you guys are doing. So thank you so much. I have Samoan family that are in the Navy, in the Army, and it's not easy to sacrifice time away from family. I know I'm not in the military, but I know what it feels like to do 14, 15 hours a day away from my family, and then on top come in here and try to do this podcast. There's just no time for family sometimes, and I have to make time. But I know the sacrifice, and I believe that this is the right thing to do, for America. This is about the only way that I can fight for America, and that's why I started doing this podcast. So thank you if you are in our armed forces and our military. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you all so much and respect you so much. And I know the president does it even more than I do. With that being said, if you have been doubting our president, look at the facts. What has happened in this country? Borders secure. Military is excited again. Leaders from across the world respect us again. They might not love us, but they respect us. And I think that we can be a better place for everybody. But we need to make sure that we take control of this country. We cannot allow for illegal immigrants to stay in this country, but we will allow them to come back legally and the right way. And so right now, it's not wise to just say, okay, let's give them papers after we get them vetted, because that brings the wrong message to everybody that wants to come here illegally. That will just tell everybody, hey, as long as you come in here and you stay as long as you can, you get papers. It's the wrong message. So I apologize about that to my Latino people. I love you all very much, but it has to be done the right way. So with that being said, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. Till next time, you all be blessed. And let's hope that this nation keeps getting better for the sake of the world peace. God bless America.